I'm Ashley, and you're here with Revitalize Yoga. This space is an invitation to slow down, soften, and return to yourself. For today's class, you'll need one bolster, one block, and 2 blankets. There are replacements you can use if you don't have these props. You could easily roll up a towel or a blanket to support the replacement for a bolster and use maybe a book or a couple of books to replace the block. So we'll start by finding a comfortable seat of choice. And we'll begin by taking 2 centering breaths. So you'll inhale through the nose and exhale aside to release. Once more, inhale through the nose and exhale aside to release. Just letting go of the day thus far. Maybe you place one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, and just taking a moment to arrive here in this space. Arrive in your body, mind, noticing how you feel at this moment. Maybe letting go of any of the tasks that you need to do for today or tonight, tomorrow. Just arriving here, maybe setting an intention for yourself or for this practice. Maybe your intention is to slow down. Maybe your intention is to simply just be. Whatever it is, just taking a moment to repeat that silently to yourself for a moment. And then bringing your awareness to the body itself. Maybe noticing how the clothes feel against your skin. Or maybe noticing the breath as you inhale, the coolness of the air, and the warmth with each exhale. And we'll just take 2 more breaths here, just as you are. And if the eyes are closed, when you're ready, you can feel free to bat the eyelids open. Very slowly, very gently, we'll be finding our way into our first Yin pose of the practice. We'll be coming into a butterfly pose. So we'll place the soles of the feet together and begin to gently slide them away from the body. And if you have any discomfort in the ankles or the feet, you can take a folded blanket and place that underneath the feet and ankles for additional support. You also have the option to bring the bolster underneath the knees, or the option to place the bolster in between the feet and allow the head to rest on top. Or additionally, you can also place the bolster on top of the thighs and come to rest, letting the head fall forward. So whichever position you choose, just ensure that you have a nice spacious room between the groin and the feet, and when you're ready, you can slowly allow the back to round and let the head and the neck to fall down gently. Yin Yoga is a practice that is here to support your connective tissues. So we're focusing on things like our bones, our ligaments, our joints. And every time we come into a Yin pose, it's important to note that you come into what your appropriate depth or your appropriate edge may be. Just taking a moment to settle here, seeing if you can relax and just sink into the pose a little more with each exhale. And as we rest here, just noticing if you can find additional space within the body as you settle. So we'll begin to take 5 more breaths here, just as you are, not changing the rhythm or the pace at all. When you feel ready, very slowly, very gently, you can begin to come back up to a seat. And before we transition, just see if you can come back onto the hands to release the hips, extending the legs forward, and maybe finding some gentle movement wiggling through the ankles, the legs, the knees. And in your own time, we'll come into a half butterfly pose next. So we'll give you the option to start on either the right or the left sides. I'll be starting with the right leg here. So I'll begin to extend the right leg long as I bring the sole of the left foot in towards the right thigh. And again, we can come into more of a relaxed pose here by taking a rolled up blanket and placing that underneath the extended leg. Or you can also place that as additional support for underneath the sit bones if you have any form of sciatica or lower back pain. And as we did with the regular butterfly, you can also place the folded blanket underneath that left ankle or foot. Again, just finding that positioning that works for you here. And when you feel ready, very gently again, you can begin to round the back as you slowly lower the head and neck down, coming into our gentle half butterfly pose. Remembering to come to your appropriate depth, your appropriate edge, whatever that may mean for you. And knowing that you always have the option to come and rest on the bolster or possibly even on the block for additional support, finding more of a relaxed half butterfly, if you will. So we'll begin to take 5 more breaths here, just as you are. Again, not changing the rhythm or the pace at all. And in your own time, when you feel ready, remembering to move very slowly, again, you can begin to push yourself up and away from the floor or the mat or the additional props beneath you. And as we did with butterfly, just taking a moment to come and lean back on the hands as we release the hips and extend the legs long. And in your own time, once you've found those gentle movements, we can slowly come over towards the opposite side. So I'll be moving into the left leg here. So just beginning to extend the left leg long and bringing the sole of the right foot in towards the left thigh. And again, knowing that you have the option to use additional support with the blankets underneath the knee or the sit bones or possibly the other ankle. And again, you can also take the bolster to come and rest down as you round the back and the spine. So wherever you are, seeing with each inhale if you can breathe in a sense of energy, renewal. And with each exhale, seeing if you can release and soften a little more into the body, finding any additional space. We'll begin to take 5 more breaths here, just as you are. Again, not changing the rhythm or the pace at all. In your own time, very gently again, you slowly begin to push up and away from the floor or from the props beneath you. And once more, we'll come to lean back on the hands to release the hips as we extend the legs long to find some gentle movement. And now that we've completed both sides, maybe you come to bring the soles of the feet to the mat as you bend the knees, just finding some gentle windshield wiper movements throughout the legs to release the hips and the lower back. And when that feels sufficient, in your own time, we'll slowly come to our next and final yin pose of the practice, which is our Sphinx Pose. So we have a few options as you come into this pose. So ensure that the elbows are beneath the shoulders as we extend the forearms and the hands somewhat parallel to one another. You can come to find length in the spine as we find that neutral stance from the pelvis all the way up through the crown of the head. And maybe just playing around with the positioning of the legs here. So you might notice that if the legs are widened, the sensations along the spine may deepen. And if you bring the legs closer together, you might notice that the sensations become a little bit more even along the spine. So just taking a moment to tune into the body here and notice how it feels on the lower back. You also have the option to slide the forearms forward, just deepening and bringing the chest closer to the mat to release any further sensations. You can also take the bolster and come into more of a relaxed Sphinx pose as you slide the bolster underneath the armpits, allowing the chest to fall down onto the bolster, maybe dropping the head and the neck. But again, wherever you are, just taking those next few moments to really find that positioning that works for you, coming into your appropriate depth or your appropriate edge, and just remaining still or finding stillness within the pose here, allowing our body to get into our connective tissues and finding any additional space as we exhale and settle in. So we'll begin to take 5 more breaths here, just as you are. Again, not changing the rhythm or the pace at all. And in your own time, very slowly, very gently, we'll come to rest down on the mat. And if you wish to decompress the lower back a little here, you may join me in sliding up the right knee, keeping the sole or the ankle of the foot against the floor. And just taking a moment to indulge in this sweet release of the lower back. And maybe you choose to stay as you are, or maybe you come to switch sides. So you extend the right leg long, and you come to slide the left knee up towards the side, maybe switching the cheek towards the other side as well, facing the direction of the knee that's bent. We'll take 2 more breaths. And in your own time, very gently, we'll begin to extend that left leg long as we gently push ourselves up and away from the mat, coming up to the sit bones as we begin to prepare for our next pose, which is a restorative pose. So we'll be using all of the props that we have here today. So we'll place the block on its lower edge at the head of the mat, and then you can come to bring the bolster and rest that lengthwise on top of the block. And if you know that you have any form of lower back pain or sciatica, sometimes it's nice to take a folded blanket and actually place that just at the base of the bolster for additional support underneath the sit bones, and this can help to relieve any tension or discomfort of the lower back. We'll come to bring the base of the spine against the bolster as we slowly come to lie down. Again, with the option to use that second blanket for additional support underneath the head and the neck, or possibly the knees or the ankles. So if you'd like that, just taking a moment to settle in there with that additional blanket, and when you're ready, you can ensure the legs are extended long, arms by your sides, maybe the palms facing upwards. And just taking a moment to inhale here. And as you exhale, just seeing if you can soften into the bolster beneath you. Feeling the weight of the body supported by the earth, the props. And when the body is supported is when the muscles can truly relax, which allows the body and our nervous system and our minds to calm down and reset. We spend so much of our days now, day to day, seeming to be in a constant rush, in a constant go state. It's as if we're always braced for impact and we don't allow the body to take a moment to rest. So it's important that you take this time here to truly feel supported and allow the body a moment to settle in and relax. begin to take 5 more breaths here, just as you are, not changing the rhythm or the pace at all. And in your own time, when you feel ready, remembering that there's no rush to get there, very slowly, very gently, we'll find our way back up to a seat. And as you begin to find your way back up, we'll be coming into our final resting pose of the practice, our Shavasana or corpse pose. So you can choose to take more of a traditional Shavasana with no props, or you can choose to come into more of a supported corpse pose, possibly with a bolster underneath the knees, a folded blanket beneath the head and neck, or maybe just choosing to place a blanket over top of you as you come to rest here. So again, just taking the next few moments to really settle in, come into the pose that allows you to rest most easily. Take a slow breath in and a long, gentle breath out. Allow the weight of the day to melt away with each exhale, allowing the muscles of the face to relax, the jaw to soften, the shoulders to drop a little heavier, feeling the belly rise and fall naturally without any effort. With each breath, imagine a warm wave of calm moving through you, from the crown of your head, down your spine, to the tips of your toes. Nothing to fix, nothing to change, just arriving and being here. Let your mind rest as the body rests. If a thought appears, acknowledge it softly and then begin to let it drift away. Take one more deep, nourishing inhale and a slow exhale, releasing fully. Allow yourself to remain in this stillness, rested, spacious, and whole. We'll begin to take 5 more breaths here, just as you are. Again, not changing the rhythm or the pace at all. And in your own time, remembering to move slowly, we'll come to lie in a fetal position on either the right or the left sides. And just taking a moment of gratitude for yourself, for being here today or this evening, taking a moment to tend to the body and the mind, giving yourself a chance to find stillness and rest. And in your own time, you can slowly find your way to a seat with the invitation to still keep the eyes closed if you wish. And we'll finish off this practice with a final intention or affirmation that I typically like to offer. I am calm, I am peaceful, and I am at ease. And we'll take one more collective breath together before we part ways. We'll inhale through the nose and exhale a sigh to release. If the eyes are closed, you begin to bat the eyelids open as you arrive back to this space. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. If this practice supported you, you're welcome to like, subscribe, or share it with someone who may need it. Until next time, take care and be gentle with yourself.